Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. In today's stories, OP doesn't like how her brother and sister-in-law have been treating her nephew after a family tragedy, so she makes a decision thinking about what's best for the kid. But was this the best decision on how to deal with this problem? Am I the idiot for telling my brother he should have been a better father if he didn't want his son taken away? My brother was a single dad for the first 6 years of his son's life. Then my brother met his wife Emma and Emma's son Logan. Logan and my nephew had a very oil and water relationship, and were not close at all. They were stepbrothers for about 18 months, and had known each other for about 3 years, when Logan died suddenly. Emma fell apart, unsurprisingly. My nephew confided in me, a few times, that he felt like everyone expected him to be feeling and reacting differently than he did. He told me he wasn't glad Logan was dead and it was sad, but he didn't feel like he lost anyone. He said he thought Emma was beginning to notice more, since he wasn't crying and didn't really have much trouble continuing with life as normal. I told him it was okay to feel that way, as long as he was compassionate of others, and if he needed to talk, he could always come to me. My nephew turned 17 3 months ago, and he begged to move in with my family. Things were bad with my brother and Emma. For about a year before, Emma had been quizzing my nephew about Logan, and all things connected. Then before Christmas, she decided to spy on my nephew and his friend. His friend had lost his dad and sister in a car crash, and my nephew was consoling him. She heard my nephew say he hadn't ever experienced a personal loss before, and wasn't sure how it would go, but he would always let his friend talk. Emma went nuts on the boys, and chased the friend off, who was already upset. Wow. My nephew ended up yelling at her, and the other boys' mom and grandparents called my brother. My brother told my nephew he should be ashamed of himself for being so dismissive of his brother's death. This is when my nephew called. I was able to let him stay, mostly due to the police not wanting to drag him back to my brother's house. He called them, and I had already contacted CPS in order to talk about what was going on, and they sent someone to talk to my nephew, and then my brother and Emma. So my nephew gets to stay with me. My brother has accused me of taking his son away from him, and told me I should be ashamed of myself. He said it wasn't my place to get so involved. I told him I didn't take his son, he chose to leave, and that if he didn't want his son taken away, he should have been a better father. This is when he told me I was overstepping, and I should see his point of view, and how awful it is what my nephew has said and done. Am I the idiot? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I told my brother he should have been a better father, if he didn't want his son taken away. My reasons for questioning myself are: 1. By saying he did have his son taken away, I am making it sound like I was plotting to do it or something. The other part of me wonders if I should be doing more to try and help things between them, instead of coming down so hard on my brother. Now let's see what OP replied in the comments, and what more details they gave. Info: Am I right in thinking Logan passed away 8 years ago, so this tension has been bubbling along for all this time? Is Emma in grief counseling? It sounds like your brother isn't only failing as a parent, but also as a husband. If he's failing to get his wife the support she needs, if she's still punishing her stepson for her son's untimely death. Yes, that is correct. Nephew is 17? Heck, the emancipation paperwork should be easy, and I recommend doing that if he plans on going to college, so he doesn't have to get their participation for FAFSA. Then he is as a stranger to them, and can live wherever he wants. Emancipation is not something he qualifies for, unfortunately. He did ask about it when he came to live with us. OP, I do have a question. Does it seem to you that Emma somehow blames your nephew for Logan's death? No, but I do think there's a hate for him there. Look, maybe Emma doesn't blame him for her son's death, but I do think she feels resentment that her son died and OP's nephew is alive. I know, it might not make sense, and honestly it doesn't, but grief isn't rational, just like OP's sister-in-law's actions. I also think she feels angry that her stepson doesn't miss her son, that even though they weren't close, I think she and her husband believed that nephew considered Logan as a brother, and realizing that isn't the case made her go crazy, so to speak. But OP's nephew isn't wrong here, even if sister-in-law thought it was strange that he didn't show sadness right after her son's death. She has no right to do what she did. It's like I said before, just because you live in the same house with someone, doesn't mean you will consider that person as family. OP's nephew did feel Logan's death, just not in the way he would if he lost someone close to him, not in the way his dad and stepmother wanted. But he didn't do anything wrong, and OP didn't do anything wrong by taking his nephew out of that house, especially when he's not only been on the receiving end of his stepmother's wrath, but also his father's. OP's sister-in-law needs help, and OP's brother is not helping either his wife or his son with his disregard for this matter, especially when he accuses his own son of being a monster. I can only imagine how bad this situation was for the boy asked to leave home. It couldn't have been easy to live in that house. So, OP is not the idiot, because of what they did for nephew, nor because of what they said to brother. Since he's the idiot. And what did you guys think of this situation? What would you do if you were OP? What advice would you give this family? Now let's read what the comments have to say and what more information OP gave in their replies. Not the idiot. If I am reading the timeline right, this kid died when he was 9, and now he's 17, and Emma and your brother are losing their minds that your nephew isn't grieving enough, and are spying on his social interactions, to see whether he's sufficiently sad? That's wild. Both of them need professional help. Not the idiot, Emma needs help. It sounds like they weren't a blended family for very long before Logan died, and the boys hadn't forged a connection yet. Emma is being extremely unfair to the kid for not developing that connection in 3 years, when I highly doubt she's made a connection between herself and her stepson in a longer span of time. Your brother has been sticking his head in the sand. Not the idiot. Remind your brother that 1. What he said wasn't awful, he was expressing his feelings. 2. If his wife had respected his child's privacy, and minded her business, she wouldn't have heard it in the first place. They brought this on themselves. Not the idiot, you are giving a safe space for a young adult who needs it. Could you have worded it a bit nicer to your brother? Sure, but he needed to hear it. Not the idiot. Your brother and Emma are terrible parents and people. Please get some therapy for your nephew. Help him ignore the toxic parents. Your brother chose Emma, but your nephew didn't have a choice about Logan. If he had, he probably would not have wanted to share his home. They can be sad that the love they feel wasn't shared by all 4 of them, but they can't punish someone to grieve. Not the idiot. And what about you guys? Do you agree with the comments? What other advice would you give OP? Don't forget to leave your thoughts down below. Oh, are you enjoying the video so far? If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. This really helps the channel, so I appreciate it. Now let's go to the next story. Don't eat upstairs or downstairs. Someone said I should put this here, so. In middle school, internal consistency among staff did not exist. The cafeteria people yelled at us to eat breakfast upstairs, while the teachers hated that, because of carpets or something. It was kind of silly hearing both sides yelling every day, so I jokingly proposed we set up a table halfway up the stairs on the landing. My friend ran with this idea, and a few days of planning and getting supplies, we set it up. It wasn't fancy, but we had some snacks for it, and a sign that read, "Can't eat upstairs? Can't eat downstairs? Eat here." Some of the teachers thought it was funny, including the principal, and it stayed up for a few days. Pretty minor, but we thought it was pretty funny. LOL, cute and funny. Good OP, the children found a solution to something that the adults couldn't, without actually causing problems for anyone. I liked it. But I wonder if afterwards the responsible adults managed to find a solution that they all agreed on, or if they continued to fight about it. After all, the students couldn't, or at least shouldn't, have to eat on the stairs for the rest of the school year. But I do like the way OP thinks. And what about you guys? What did you think of OP's idea? Did you like it? Comment down below. Now let's go to the next story. He said he wanted space, so I gave him a lot of it. My boyfriend kept saying he needed, quote, more space, and that I was being too in his face all the time. So, I thought, okay, I'll just give him exactly what he wants. I stopped inviting him to do stuff, didn't text him unless I had to, and didn't make any effort to plan anything. After a couple of weeks, he finally called me up and was like, "Why haven't you been around? What's going on?" I just said, "You said you needed space, so I gave it to you." He looked at me for a second and then broke up with me, saying that I, quote, didn't care about him anymore, and I was too distant. Apparently, space wasn't really what he wanted. What he wanted was an excuse to break up with you, OP. First he says you're given too much, then he says you're not given enough to the relationship. Honestly, I think he was hoping that you were going to end things when he started saying he needed space, but it backfired at him, because you did exactly what he was asking, lol. And then, he used that as an excuse to break up with you. Either that, or he's insane and doesn't know what he wants. Either way, this breakup was a blessing in disguise. And what do you guys think? Don't forget to leave your comments down below. And that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, go watch the video that is appearing on the screen right now or click on one of our playlists that are in the description to watch more videos. Until next time.